Watching Media Week, let's check in on some of the major media news stories of the week with James Manning. James, to start with, there's been quite a lot of movement in some senior positions around the traps. Let's start at Network 10.
Yep, Jim Carroll has stepped down as the head of news and current affairs there. Not exactly, it hasn't been announced what's going on, but there was some speculation that they wanted to make some further cuts to the news. You know, they've built up their news. They hired a lot of new reporters, started their a 90-minute news bulletin at 5 o'clock, the Negus program at 6:30, and he said, look, I don't really want to be part of that. So he's still with the network but hasn't taken on another role yet. Dermot O'Brien has moved up from Melbourne. He was the news boss down there to take over his role here in Sydney.
Okay, and at the Australian, a new hire?
Yeah, John Allen's come on board. He's moved across from True Local. He's going to be the Chief Operating Officer, so responsibility for day-to-day business operations of the News Limited's National Daily.
And Paul Merrill moving on.
Yeah, pioneering magazine founder, Zoom magazine, fairly controversial men's title.
Yeah.
He launched the UK edition a couple of years ago. ACP sort of brought him out here to Australia to do it. He's done 365 issues. He says that's enough, and he's off looking for a new challenge.
Okay. Firstly, we had Foxtel on Xbox, now Foxtel on T-Box. The details of this were released this week?
They were, yep. Base package is $19.50, 11 channels you get for that. You can add on channel packages up to a total of about $74, which seems a lot of money for getting it on your T-Box. If you're spending that much, you might as well go the full-blown Foxtel. But the sort of hidden away, the sort of real headline was buried. You can get it for as little as $9.50 a month if you get one of the Telstra bundles, which is a lot of people are doing these days. It can save you quite a lot of money if you bundle up your phone, your internet, broadband. It's gone back
to the old days, like when sort of Foxtel first started. It was all, well, maybe not when they first started, but a while ago. You know, there were all the deals with Telstra and with Optus, so it seems to sort of come full circle, I suppose. Now, we had a number of awards this week. We should have a quick chat, I suppose, about the young journalists from in the Walkleys this year. Yeah,
there's Young Journalist of the Year. There's 5 different categories. The sort of winners of those were Rosie Squires, I think, from the Sunday Telegraph, print, John Connell, ABC Radio, Yara Boo Mallam, I'm not sure on that pronunciation, from Sky News, category from SBS. Category sponsored by Sky News, Asha Moses from Fairfax in online, and Harrison Saragosi from the Brisbane Times Photography. Yara won the overall.
Yeah, she had a cracking yarn, went sort of traipsed through Syria and got to do all this undercover stuff.
Yeah, doing some amazing work, some of those young reporters at SBS. Absolutely.
Well, they're quite brave, has to be said. Now, let's have a look at what's been going on in television. The highly anticipated new season of The Block kicked off this week. What are the numbers doing?
Pretty good so far. Start off with 1.34 million. It was an hour episode on Monday night. Tuesday and Wednesdays just over 1.1 million, which 9 would be thinking is pretty good. The hour episode on Thursdays, back to a half hour on Friday. But the real business of the renovation starts next week. They're just doing some sort of a preliminary eliminations till they work out the 4 couples that will move into the derelict houses.
And any word yet when we're going to see the competition come in from Channel 10?
The renovators, no, they launched that I think in about 2 weeks' time, so it'll probably go to air the week after that. So yeah, it'll be interesting how they both go head to head.
All right. One interesting program that came out this week, sort of out of nowhere, Go Back to Where You Came From on SBS. I think one of the interesting things about this, yes, really good ratings for SBS, one of their highest rating programs this year, but the way that sort of social media, I think, really pushed the viewership.
Yeah, I think so. The awareness of this on Twitter alone was, you know, a lot of people responding, and I think it was over 500,000 people. So yeah, the 2 most watched programs, the first 2 episodes, 3-episode series being repeated on SBS2 later in the week, and you can also watch it online at their website.
Was trending higher than MasterChef, which is a big deal in the Twitterverse, apparently.
Yeah, but it doesn't always equal ratings. I used to try and work out that if you could calculate TV ratings from Twitter, but you can't.
So
there's no real correlation.
Doing more than 500,000 or something. I mean, it's...
Yeah, just over 500,000 on both nights. The second night's already was a bit bigger than the first.
Okay. A birthday party of sorts for the morning show?
Yeah, their 4th birthday, which isn't normally a big deal. You know, you might do something special about your 5th or your 10th. But the thing about the morning show is that how big a success it has been since launch. You know, just look at the figures from last week. Network audience just under 200,000. Both competitors about 100,000 behind. That's the Kerry Ann on 9 and the Circle on 10. So the morning show is still getting an audience 4 years later. later sort of the combined audience of its competitors.
And finally, another lifestyle in the Lifestyle Channel, I should say, on Foxtel and Ozstar. They're doing an Australian version of a very popular UK show.
Yeah, one of their most watched programs, Bargain Hunt. It's 11 years old now, that show. 5 one-hour specials they'll be filming in Australia. It'll be shown here next year and also be screened in the UK as part of the series there.
Okay, let's check in on the ratings for week 25. This is in free-to-air. Game 2 of the State of Origin in the top spot this week, followed by MasterChef Monday in second. Australia's Got Talent in third. MasterChef on Thursday and Wednesday in 4th and 5th place. MasterChef Tuesday in 6th. 7 News Sunday coming in 7th this week. Downton Abbey in 8th position. 7 News Sunday in 9th. And The Big Bang Theory rounding out this week's top 10. James, Downton Abbey just fallen from, not from great, it's still in the top 10, but still down the list.
Still doing very well.
Yep.
That yeah, I think that might have been from the long weekend, those figures. So
okay.
That Sunday night of long weekend, the numbers are always sort of down a little bit. So yeah, but it's still doing very well, still winning the slot easily. MasterChef still doing well. A bit of chat that the numbers weren't quite as good as last year, but they're sort of lifting nicely. So I think 10's still very happy with that.
And we're obviously still to get to the big stuff when you've got the finals. When
that gets to that guy who's the mystery guy who's been thrown off the show. When we get to those episodes, you can expect a bit of a spike there too. Yeah, that we talked about.
You named him last week, so I think is it a secret this week? Just pretend that last week didn't happen. Let's look at the subscription TV ratings for week 25. Top 5. This is in sport. NRL firstly. Storm v Roosters. Cowboys versus the Warriors, and Knights v Panthers, and then some AFL matches. Essendon v North Melbourne, and Essendon v Fremantle in 5th position this week. In the non-sport, we've got lots of kids shows. Shake It Up in the top spot, followed by Futurama in 2nd, Simpsons in 3rd, The Sweet Life on Deck in 4th, and Phineas and Ferb rounded out the top 5. It's not a program I'm familiar with.
No, it's good to see Disney with a couple of shows up there. So the power
Sounds like it's not one you're that familiar with either.
No, but kids TV, a big driver still in subscription TV.
Thank you, James.
Thanks, Kylie.
That's all we've got time for. Well, it was good to chat with Greg High. We will see you back here next week, as we always do. That's all we have time for from the team here. Thank you very much for your company.